All right, so what did you think about the restaurant that we went to on Saturday?
Well, it was definitely an adventure of people watching, I'll tell you that much.
Holy God. Do you remember the person who was sitting next to us? Not even 15 minutes into being there. Oh my God. Can we change seats? There's a fucking crumb.
Not even that, just announcing it to her husband, like, don't sit there. It's dirty. Like, like, it wasn't even anything.
You have a stroke
Oh,
halfway through that?
a little bit. But no, it was just a crumb on the seat, and she's like, it's dirty.
Bitch, I will lick it off your seat and make it clean.
Not even. Just take your hand and just, bah, just a little, bah.
Just take your sleeve and wipe it. I don't understand why people are just so, like, I don't know, maybe it's a Greenwich thing. Maybe it's like the pompousness of like who they are because, oh, I have money. I want everything to be pristine.
It's not even that. It's just more so of just like you're in a restaurant that's serving people. You have to deal with the scum of the earth, the most pompous people.
Oh my God, I know. And the fact that not even like 10 minutes after they sit down, once they clean the seat, they wanted to move because they were seated by the door and she was too cold. Meanwhile, you were wearing a full open back shirt and we were at the table right next to them and we had no problem.
Yeah, full open from shoulder blades to like lower middle back in the rain, right by the door. And she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they seated us by the door. It's cold." Girl, I could be getting free drinks if I wasn't sitting down right now.
But it's also like they're a new restaurant. They're not even on Google. And they had full parties already because the restaurant was already established because they had a sister restaurant. They just had the sister restaurant right across the street.
And they had a soft open like not even like 2 weeks ago at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that we went to the sister restaurant and then we were like, oh, let's go out for drinks afterwards because let's extend the night.
Yeah.
And we were walking by and we were like, oh, that's a new spot. Let's check it out.
But we caught the side of the bar and I was like, that looks really pretty. Because I was thinking about, oh, why don't we go somewhere else that kind of had like a same bar vibe? But it was like, it looked nice. I don't know, just to complain about, oh, it's cold by the door and your first instinct isn't looking at the 20-something-year-old, hold back out. Full, everyone can see every freckle on this girl's back and you think you're cold? Just order a hot cocktail. Order a hot toddy. Ask for some soup. Like, because they were filling up for dinner.
Yeah.
All the tables were real, because they even pushed our reservation earlier.
Yeah.
So they could actually have a seat for us. And you're going to complain and get the waiter to move your seat, right? But didn't even inform the manager. So he was confused on why all the napkins have been moved, but no one's sitting there anymore.
Yeah. And that then makes the waiter look bad because now it looks like that he's actually not doing part of his job, which is cleaning up after people leave.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw that the manager was confused. Like, he was like looking for a purse because it was a couple. So it's like, I don't see a purse. I don't see a jacket. I see nothing. And then a woman's now standing there trying to figure out why is she being sat at a table that hasn't been cleaned. But it was even worse because it was clean. But I'm sorry, to complain about your seat being cold and crumbs, and the first thing you do is touch the napkin on the plate. Are you kidding? You committed. I'm sorry. The second your hand touches a napkin and cutlery, you're committed to the seat.
But then can we talk about the fact that that was the napkin that they used to wipe off the crumb? And then they were going to use that napkin for their face. Like, somebody's whole ass was in that seat and they're wiping it down. And then that's the napkin that you're going to commit. Didn't ask for a new napkin, asked for a new chair because of a crumb.
But then actually do something way worse. The second a napkin has been touched anywhere, request a new one. That's okay. That's like picking a napkin off the floor, being like, oh, smells good enough, and like still using it.
3-day-old underwear sniff test.
Oh,
it's fine.
gosh. Oh, Lord. Turn it inside out, front, back, and then commando on the 7th day. But it just boggled me to complain about all these things. And it's like, are you even going to be happy with your meal?
Yeah, because now they've already set the precedent that this place is already shit, even though they didn't even have anything started.
They walked in wanting a problem.
Yeah.
Those are people who want a problem.
And then you know that they're not going to tip well either, just based on that one thing. Because now they're just like, oh, they're not attentive. The place isn't clean. This place was a nightmare. But they have no regard for what's actually going on behind the scenes. Like, you can tell when people don't work in service or have never worked in service.
I think instead of being drafted in the military and everyone having to do that, I think people need to work service.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Honestly, either way, you're underpaid and dealing with people who think they're in charge.
I always start my tipping process when I dine in 25%.
Yeah.
I'm already at like the highest thing. You have to spit in my face for me to tip low. You really do. Because you're working hard, you're overworked, underappreciated.
And it's so funny because when I was going to go into bartending full time because it was the only thing I felt like I could get, one of the things that I liked about bartending when I did it as a side job was because you were always dealing with people, and people are some of the most interesting things. That's what my grandfather always said to me, owning his own bar. But then I worked in bartending as a full-time job, and you realize just how draining people can be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about people. I think it's just the fact that you're now being waited on, so then now people think that you're at their beck and call. And I think it's just worse in affluent areas because they already have this idea that it's all about me in general.
They bring their nonsense into the room.
Yes.
That's 100% what it is. They just bring their bullshit. That's what they're like, I'm getting waited on. And they treat you not like a server. Because a server is like, I get paid to do that. They treat you like a servant.
Yes.
Like, you elected to be in my presence. Where it's like, you just walked through my door and sat at a dirty table and went, where are my menus? Sarah, you walked into my establishment. Okay? You can wait. I will get you your breadsticks in a minute.
I also think one of the main problems, though, is when people sit down at a restaurant, it's almost like they feel like they're the only people in the restaurant. Even though they see the whole thing is full, they're the only ones that matter.
Well, you don't understand. They're the main character. Like, you don't get it. It's their world. It's like driving sometimes, too, where some people are just staring at a green light. They're not moving.
Yes.
And it's like, what's happening up there, sunshine? Any idea? Any brain cells working today? Same concept. You're in their world. They're like the pop star, and you have to abide to their rules.
I don't know, but you grew up in the hood, right? So do you feel that maybe it's just this area, that it's just the people here in this more affluent area just have this sort of, I don't know, this sort of attitude of I'm better than you? Or do you think that it doesn't really matter what the location is and that's people in general?
I think it matters on where you are. Like, I wouldn't say it was the hood, but like there were bad sides of my town, and you know, you don't want to be caught in certain avenues at a certain hour of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Greenwich, so our quote-unquote bad area, like our ghetto, looks like fucking condos. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was living, and that was considered nice where I was. So
yeah.
Already very different worlds. But like in my town, yeah, I would say like we were more grateful like that you were existing. Like you had a paycheck to come home and like use that to buy groceries. Like that was very much like I put food on the table. And if you went out, it's like we saved up for it. It's a special occasion. So you treat dining as like this huge event. Like it's a whole event of the day. Like you get ready, you get this, it's like you dress up. You play like Pretty Princess to go out for like dinner. Which is only like a 2-hour long experience, but it's like the actual event is like 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I grew up in this area, so I'm also very accustomed to it. But I don't think I fully appreciated it, or not appreciated it, but I don't think I really fully noticed it until once I moved and I lived in a different state where I realized people in this area, it's what can you do for me rather than what can I do for you? Like it's
Yeah.
way more of a self-centered, and maybe that just comes with the wealth because it's this idea of like I have prestige. Like I remember when I was working at the dive and there was this kid who came in and she was underage and she was like, "Can I come in?" I was like, "No, you're underage." And she goes, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is?" I'm like, "What's your last name?" She gives me the last name. I'm like, "I don't recognize it, so you can't be that important." And that was like that was like the first time where somebody had actually told her no. So I don't know. I feel like it's just this thing of, first of all, I think a lot of parents in this area just let their kids do and say or have whatever they want because they can afford it,
Oh,
and
100%.
daddy's money can get them out of any sort of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because these kids don't really have to worry about anything, but the parents who come from like new money, they actually did have to work for something and did have to worry about stuff and maybe did struggle a little bit harder, but they're not instilling that in their own children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where this like pretentiousness of like the newer generations kind of coming from.
Well, yeah, like you can already see it now with like how kids are like, oh, we hand kids like a trophy for showing up.
Yeah.
So they definitely already have like we've set up the ending of my generation and the next one for failure. They
You say that as if we're not part of the same generation. I grew up with participation trophies and stuff too.
But I think it was different for Gen Z. Like we're close, but we're also not that close. Like I understand what you're saying because we got like the little stars, like you did good today. These people are getting like, oh my God, you got up. It doesn't matter you got up 3 hours late. You got up I missed the bus. My parents be like, I guess you're walking. Or it's like they're driving me and they're like, I can't believe you're doing this. And I wouldn't, the kids that would come in late and they have the Dunkin' Donuts. I came up late, upset because it was silent car ride. I got told I caused problems at 6:30 in the morning.
I mean, if you're gonna show up late, go the whole nine. Like, if I'm gonna show up for late to work, I'm gonna show up with the car. I'm already late. I may as well like make it worth my time. If I'm gonna get reamed out, let me enjoy the reaming.
Yeah, no, it was more so of like, this is such an inconvenience in my life right now.
Yeah.
But coming from a household where one parent was really working, so I messed up their
you threw off their mojo.
Because one person would leave really early in the morning, the second person would be like later. The later person isn't gonna do it. That's so out of their time. I'm leaving with the blue collar dad, like going to a job site, being like, missed the bus again, huh? So
how many times did you miss the bus?
Middle school was a rough year.
Year.
It felt like one long year. But
it was the COVID before COVID.
It truly was. But we set up these kids, like we put kids' behavior such on pedestals, right? But like look at it's learned behavior. So look at their parents. They put themselves on that pedestal too. Because they have money. They go with the idea of, well, I worked so hard to get here. I don't need to like care about anyone else. I did the like social ladder climb. They come at these like waiters and servers or any anyone who has to deal with customer service is dealing with that like, I worked this hard. It's time for you. I pay you to do this job.
Yeah. Especially the ones who didn't acquire that money, but especially for those who acquired the money like through their parents. Like say the parents were really well off because of how hard they worked, and then they just kind of overtook it.
Yeah.
So they've just always just known that this is how it is. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't work hard to sustain it.
No, 100%.
But at the same point, they were just given that.
Yeah.
Like they already had the stepping stones to be successful. So I don't think people really have the appreciation for what they have because they've already been given it.
Yeah. Like, let's put it this way, right? Like I didn't come from like the most richest neighborhood school background. We couldn't afford a lot of new things. Like a lot of stuff was used or like hand-me-down stuff. But it was still a huge thing that we would have dinner together as a family. It was always expected, right? And you would just be thankful for the meal that was on your plate. Like, I have had buttered egg noodles and hot dogs for dinner. That was my childhood. That was like a legit dinner. The breaded pork chops that I do from my mom, that I grew up on that too. Meatloaf was a constant Wednesday night dinner, but it was the appreciation of my parents worked all day. They came home. They took care of me. They still cooked a meal. These people were going to college too. Like, they were doing a lot. I don't know how they did it, truly, with how everything was happening in the early 2000s. But, like, I really appreciate where I come from. But the one thing they instilled in me was be grateful where you are and be aware that other people don't have the accomplishments or opportunities as you. I was given a lot of the same opportunities as many of my classmates, but I received, maybe more appreciation or stuff, but not because they didn't get the same opportunities. It's because I worked for it.
But even though we come from different backgrounds in the sense of like where we lived, granted, I lived in a more affluent area like my whole life. I grew up in this town, but I also remember like my mom making meatloaf or my dad and mom like kind of making the same meals throughout the week. But my parents also had 3 kids all at once.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say money was super tight, but I think my parents had to figure out a budget.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it was also instilled in us where it was you work hard to get where you want to be. My problem is life just keeps throwing me to the shitter. I don't know too many people who get laid off twice within 6 months.
Yeah, that's a crazy statistic to pull.
But if I didn't bartend, I never would have met you.
I know.
But I think I can say this for both of us, where we understand how hard our parents worked for them to get to where they are, to instill the things that they instilled in us to also have that same work ethic.
Yeah. And yet somehow we don't take it out on people who are in service. And like, I think that's like the bigger like thing about this is like both of our families worked really hard. They raised us. They instilled like a strong work ethic in us and appreciate the little things and appreciate where you've come from and where you are now. Like, don't take everything for granted. And now here we are like in our later adolescence, and it's very much
adolescence. Bitch, I'm 30. What are you talking about? I am a full ass adult.
But can't relate. There's still I got a couple of years till then, but what I'm trying to say is like we appreciate everything that they've done and stuff, but yet we don't take it out on people. Like we don't
take it out on people who we feel are below us.
Yeah, the only person below me is an 8-pound cat. Because she's that stubby.
Yeah, like I just do not understand the people who sit at a table and when they want the check right away, they snap their fingers. Like, just do the check symbol. That's a universal sign. It's a polite way of saying, hey, I'm ready to leave.
The snapping and the whistling and the loud announcement of check. Oh my God. Like, and I was waiting.
Oh, you mean like that place we went to on Sunday for breakfast?
Yes, like the place we went to on brunch where we could have literally dined and dashed.
That was bad, though.
That was
the food was so good, but the service was awful.
That's like that's like what's really getting me upset about it is the food and the coffee. Great. The fact that I had to sit there and wait for my check, and then I get my check, and I have my card. I was like, "Oh, let me get a card reader." No, it's right here. The bill and the card. I don't care how much it is. Just take my money. Oh, let me get a card reader. And walks right by the hostess stand.
But then he went over to seat somebody at the table next to us, looked at saw the bill that he handed us with the card on it, and then just still disappeared.
And then grabbed a table that had a card reader, looked around, and walked away. The fact that we had to get someone else to take my card to pay for our receipt.
Yeah, it's
that really bothered me. And you know what's worse is I knew that I also couldn't tip badly because everyone else is probably pooling. But because this one guy ruined an experience, it's like, how badly did that affect other tips? I don't want to tip low, but but it was like, I felt so much I felt like I was gonna slap myself in the face to tip high. This guy sat us down, he gave us menus, and he took our coffee, drinks, and food, put the food down, and that was it. There was no, would you like another coffee? Would you like I didn't even get asked if I wanted ketchup or hot sauce, which is something you're supposed to ask at breakfast. Not just hand me salt and pepper. Do you need anything else?
Yeah.
Because some people do like ketchup with their eggs.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact that that guy also gave us the salt and pepper, saw that we were low on the coffee, and then still didn't ask. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've worked in service, and working at a bar is much different than working at a coffee shop. So, but
it's the same concept.
Yeah, I mean, I was always trained when I was working bar that you're always scanning your bar. You're always looking for empty drinks because drinks are your moneymaker. So you always want to make sure that somebody has a filled drink because that's just padding the check at that point too. Which also means that you're padding your tip, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the more money that they're spending, the more that 20% increases.
Yep.
So that's the whole thought process behind it too. Plus, I always wanted more turnaround. But if somebody's going to sit there and drink, I'll have that person padding up a check. But I always hated it just when somebody came to the bar just for freaking coffee and like dessert. Like go to the restaurant for that.
Yeah. No, and I get that because it's like, why are you just here for a drink and like now sitting down for 45 minutes where you're going to have one drink and a dessert?
Yeah.
Like, I get that. You're like milking it.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, right? Because not many, I'm going to say it because I haven't seen it in this area, right? It's probably more of a New York thing. Where I was, the coffee shop I worked at, we didn't wait on tables, right? You would come up to the register, you order what you want there, and we would call you up when your drink was ready and or food was ready.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But the one thing we had was a bus bin. So once everyone was done eating, they put all their dishes in the bus bin. But when we would do a round, we would go around with a rag, a sanitizer rag, and wipe down the tables and clean up the crumbs and clean the dirty plates people would leave on the table and walk it to the bus bin or whatever. But as I'm walking around with the bus bin, if someone like was still kind of munching or whatever, I'd be like, hey, is there anything I can clear for you? I would ask, like, would you like me to take your plate? Do you need a box from the kitchen for your food? Do you need a to-go cup? Would you like another drink? It's like, you're still sitting, there's still stuff around. I'm not going to force you out of here, but what can I do to maybe either have you pay more money here, or are you like seeing that there's a long line and you don't want to come up and get like a to-go cup or a to-go box?
But also, are you just taking up a seat just because you're hanging out and I want to flip that table because that's more customers?
And that was kind of like our nice way of kind of like, hey, you've been here for like 45 minutes. You finished your crepe. I have a line out the door of people who want to dine in.
Yeah.
Either take the lavender honey matcha latte somewhere or order another one. Please. And maybe tip me this time.
Yeah. So it does go both ways, though. Like, you do have bad service. And also, you don't really know what's going on at the restaurant as a whole. Maybe it was busier than we thought it was. Maybe he was new. We have no idea. But it doesn't mean that you still treat somebody who's giving you subpar service like an asshole.
Yeah. Everyone's entitled to good days and everyone's entitled to bad days. For all we know, like maybe a person called, like we've seen it with me. Someone calls out, another person switch, it's a new person. You just kind of hope and pray they can pull it through together.
Yeah, I mean, to quote Tom Hardy, he said that he treats the janitor the same way that you treat the CEO. One, because you never know who that person could possibly be one day. But two, it's just a matter of just respecting the people around you regardless of who they are. A person is still a person.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if because you think you're such high prestige that person is just below you. At the end of the day, we're all in the same area. Like, I'm just working for it. Yeah. You're just enjoying it. But we all do things to get to where we want to be.
no one has an original experience in life.
No.
No one really does. Everyone who's sitting there, like, getting served, have done some level of service to others.
Mhm.
Like, if you're not a CEO, you're constantly answering to a boss. You're constantly having to deliver, goals and sales and all that stuff. Everyone who sits at a desk does customer service.
Yeah.
And everyone who does customer service, kind of tells the customer kind of what they can and can't have if they're out of stuff. Like, they make decisions. We're all experiencing the same thing. It's just one of us wore an apron today and the other person gets to wear, a nice little dress and slacks and enjoy it.
Yeah, everybody's experiencing the same thing. It's just a different environment.
Yep.
All right, and on that note, I think that just about does it. Thanks for joining me again, Olivia.
Of course.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody, and I'll catch you on the next one.